We are back, everyone, for our final segment of today's show, the Real Talk TV show. And Cherie, we want to talk about parents' responsibilities.
Yes.
With the program.
I have to say that I tell people all the time, it's not just the kids. What are you doing as a parent? Because at the end of the day, if your child is in the system, and it's not to say that you have good parents that that are out there and then the kids just get caught up with the other at-risk kids and they start having issues, but some of the parents are in denial. There's something going on in the house. Your child just not, if he's totally defiant and keeps getting into trouble, there's something going on where there's cause, there's an effect. And so I really try to make the point to the parents to understand that you have a role to play too. There is something not right. Your child just didn't wake up at 15 and you have all these issues. He's been acting out. I was going to say acting a fool, but I'll be nice. He's been acting out since he was probably 6, 7, 8 years old. So that's why it's important with this program that I make it a mandatory thing for the parents to come and sit in with our members, because our members will be able to listen. The parent group meeting is for the parents. Our members are there to talk about anything they want to talk about, whatever issues they're having with their children, and our members respond to them, giving them advice from their own perspective, because they've been there, done that. They've had a parent who was out of control,
right,
or did some things that were wrong, and so I allow my members to give them real talk. These are some of the things.
How responsive are the parents to that? Because I would think the first thing they would want to do is to go into a mode where they feel like they're being attacked, or that they're not being a good parent.
Sure.
So how do the members interact with the parents to kind of help them see what they're doing or what they're not doing?
Well, the beauty of it is that the members that I have, they're phenomenal. They address the parents. There's no arguing, fussing, raising of voices in there. They listen to the parents and they give their genuine feedback in a very diplomatic way, expressing to the parents, I was your child. This is me, right? This is your son right here. These are the things that were going on in my home. This is the reason why I left to the streets. Here's some advice, here's some warning signs, here's some things you maybe need to alter your parenting styles. I'm not telling you to do it, but I think if this would have happened in my home at that age, I wouldn't be sitting at this side of the table. So the parents are receptive of it. Some of them just don't participate. They're in there, they don't really care. And some of those are court-ordered kids' parents, because they feel sometimes, I'm not on probation, I don't have to be here, but if I have to be there, I'm not going to be bothered. And they'll sit in the parent group and they'll just kind of listen. Never interject, and it's a volunteer thing, as far as participating in the group. But we do surveys every month in that parent group, and the majority of our surveys come out very well. There's a couple of parents that will, if I get 40 parents in a group and I got 2 that give you all strongly disagrees on our Likert scale, then I already know this parent has some issues. Out of the 38 that I have, and you have told me that nothing has been effective for you in this group, I'm okay with that because I have your child.
Right.
I'm going to focus on him or her because you obviously I can't change. But the other parents that are in there, we get great comments, we get great feedback. Thank you so much for this. It was very informal. Thank you so much. I learned a lot. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are a blessing. So things like that is what I look for. Now, I'll take the negative too because, I want to hear the feedback. But when you have a certain portion of those parents that just going through the survey, just no, or strongly disagree, I don't take, that doesn't give me any substance to work with. And they have to, as parents, I don't care who you are. As a parent, you can't be part-time. You have to give 100% in order to let your child know that you are concerned about every being in his body, every fiber in his or her body. Because if you don't show that you're that invested,
right,
what is your child going to do?
Now, that part of the program, is that mandatory for the parents?
That is mandatory for the parents to come to at least the first meeting, and they go into the parent group. And then our second meeting, it's not mandatory, but it's strongly encouraged for them to come and sit in with the kids to view our speakers talking. And then the third meeting we wanted to be, it's mandatory because we want the kids to be able to see their mom or their dad coming to see them graduate.
Right.
So, and it's 2 meetings out of 3 months. And you give, it's 4 hours maximum that you would have to partake in your son or your daughter's life. I mean, show some interest and take heed of what you're receiving, you know. And a lot of the parents have come up to me and said things like, you know, I asked, you know, hi, how is your relationship going with your son or your daughter now? Has it changed? Has it transformed? She says, absolutely. Or he'll say, absolutely.
Do you get kids giving you that feedback about their family dynamics or things that are going on in their home and how to cope with some of that?
Not necessarily verbally. I mean, it just depends on if I talk to a kid. You know, some kids will actually say things, and you know, I'm running so much during the meeting, sometimes I don't get the time to talk to all of them. But where I do see it is written paperwork. We have end of the class surveys where the parent signs or fills out their survey, and then the child fills out their survey, and we ask the question of how was your relationship? Is it better with your parents? Are you more respectful to your parents? Are you talking about your goals, your dreams with your parents? And vice versa, the parents have those questions as well. Is your relationship changed with your daughter or your son? You know, so we get both dynamics from the child and from the parent, and that's what we want to see. And then, you know, a lot of the times the kids, when they first come in and fill out their initial surveys, they really don't want to be bothered. But at the end, they write some things in that in the surveys, and that tells us that something is clicking.
Right.
I don't care what they say, it's clicking. And when they graduate, you know, a lot of the kids, and they shared with in the other interview with you, the kids when they go to graduate, they're not standing there at the camera like they're getting ready to get a mug shot. They're smiling. They're actually smiling and happy that they're graduating. And a lot of the kids, I'll ask, you know, did you enjoy the program? Yes. Come back and join us. You know, I don't force them, but when I hear them say yes, that's all that matters to me.
Are you having good participation from the children that are graduated from the program and then coming back to volunteer?
You know what? Right now we're still about a 10% as far as kids getting involved in activities. We have had some kids that aren't involved in activities have come back and volunteer, but most of our volunteer kids are those kids that we've actually been paying for activities for, and we have now serviced or paid for over 105 kids as far as activities in the last from November 2014. We've serviced over 104 kids activities, and we paid out $44,000 for those activities.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Yes, and it's pretty exciting because, you know, these kids, they come back and they get a check every month as long as they volunteer.
For Amanda and for Lindsay, how do you foresee their roles changing in the program with the growth of the program?
You know, it all depends on how long they want to stick around. You know, that's the main thing. You know, my goal is to any intern or volunteer who has aspirations of working in the criminal justice field with juveniles. You know, I welcome them all because this program, they will get all facets of the system, be it social work, be it federal probation, be it juvenile probation, parole. And then also CPS, Child Protective Services. So they're dealing with families, they're dealing with kids, they're dealing with all the drama that unfolds when you get into the juvenile justice system. So I definitely have the goal, have the tools for them to use in hopes that they use them when they're getting ready to go. I personally am going to train them to become those people that they want to be in that field.
Great,
that's the goal for me, you know, because I'm a believer that you don't learn unless you're taught. And then if they don't receive it, well, then I have a little more work to do.
Right.
So as we progress, and I hope that, you know, they're willing to stick around, but my goal is to get them where they need to be. This is their stepping stone, and ultimately I would like to see them in their profession, and if I can do whatever I can to help them, that's what I'm going to do.
Wonderful. Talk about program needs real quick. We still have a few minutes.
We need money still. Please donate. But we also need more volunteers. We always need volunteers, and we also need volunteer ex-felons to talk to the kids about choices. That's what we need more. So, I mean, obviously, you can't operate a program without money. We're doing pretty decent right now, but you know, the money comes, the money goes, and fortunately, we're getting more kids, and we're going to need more money. But we definitely would love to have more volunteers and get more ex-felons involved with our program. And understand that this is a program that's continuously rising, and the goal is to go national. So we need all the help we can get.
Very good. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today. That was a very good show. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I want to say one last thing to everybody, though, Melissa. I just want everybody to know, listen, Miss Melissa here, her and her husband have been donating to this program religiously for the past 2 years. So I really want to give a shout out to her and her husband. So we thank you for all the things you've been doing.
Oh, thank you, Cherie, for saying that. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. We love you.